Hello everyone, this is In-Game Arts with another box or another breakdown of the demo. This is Cadence of Hyrule, Crypt of the Necrodancer, featuring The Legend of Zelda for the Nintendo Switch. But to make things simple and easier, we'll just call it Cadence of Hyrule. Now this is for the Nintendo Switch, and my physical copy came with the update version 1.4.0 already on cartridge, and there were no updates available since the making of this video. As well as all currently released DLC is on cartridge as well. This comes with the two big old expansions, extra levels and story, as well as the character pack featuring Shadow Link and Shadow Zelda and so forth. This is the complete copy of Cadence of Hyrule, and I'm very pleased and very happy with this. Now, as I said, it is evolving with Cadence of Hyrule, and it's evolving with Crypt of the Necrodancer. This is an inspiration of another game just called Crypt of the Necrodancer, infused with the story and style and presentation and music environment of Legend of Zelda. Now, Crypt of the Necrodancer is a roguelike, but it's also based around a rhythm game, where you play at a rhythm of beat within the game for every action. It's kind of like a turn-based game, but everyone needs to move with rhythm of the music. Now, mostly it's just you're following the rhythm of the music, but the game is a bit challenging in this way. But it's very fun to try to maneuver around the environment in such a way that you have to stay within beat of the music. And when you go into different areas or different dungeons and so forth, that beat or rhythm changes. But I do want to let you know, and I'm very happy and pleased with this feature. If you're someone, especially someone like me, who has a hard time with following within rhythm games and so forth, the game does feature fixed beat mode. Now, this does not really affect your overall experience, but it gets rid of the rhythm-based part of the game. I felt this was actually quite admirable, as this is a big feature and function to the game, and you can choose to play without it. I have to highly praise the developers and so forth that added that as a feature. Now, I did play the majority of the game with the music or rhythm based in the game. As I said, it is a fun and endeavoring experience to stay with rhythm of the music and just the overall style of it. But the only real issue with it is if you're someone who lacks rhythm, this can be quite frustrating, as you will find yourself constantly out of beat. And it just can make the game extremely difficult. Also, at long periods of consistent playing, staying within rhythm of beat gets really dull and quite repetitive and boring pretty quickly, in my personal opinion. So at about a point of playing, I say a little past 50% of the game, I was hit and miss with the overall experience of the Cadence of Hyrule. But when I played it with fixed beat, I have to admit, I actually had way more fun without the rhythm mechanic in the game. I liked the game as more of a turn-based mechanic, where every time you moved, the enemy moved. I felt this was really fun, but nothing really new in terms of dungeon crawler turn-based design. As I said, it is a Legend of Zelda base, so it's got a open world-esque kind of exploration, and you gotta gather up certain instrument music within the game to be able to fight the Ganon and so forth. It's, again, your typical Legend of Zelda story and style and representation. But what also I have to highly praise the game is it still has the roguelike function, where every time you start a new campaign within the game, the level layout completely changes. There's giant random seeds every time you start up a new map, and no one will have the same level design, same perspective, and so forth. Now, you will have like the same bosses and so forth, and certain dungeon areas will be the same, but the overall layout of the map, as well as exploration, will change. This is really amazing, because that means every time you play it, you'll have a new kind of Zelda world to explore. Highly gotta praise this. As well as that, you can solve many puzzles in the game with specific items or without an item. So it's really cool that some items will make a puzzle or area much easier, but you can try to solve it without specific items. Again, it's really cool how they went about and did this. As I said though, it also comes with all the other DLC, so you have be able to play the villain in the game, as well as you get to play the Majora Mask DLC as well in the game. So that's really cool, as well as it has other modes in there, like a more of a dungeon closer representation of Crypt of the Necrodancer mode, where the entire level is based around a dungeon instead of an open world map. So again, there's a lot of content packed in within this game, and it's not even a full price game. The game's graphics are gorgeous, but I'm a big humongous fan of kind of sprite graphic, just simple design in games. Music is extremely good, gameplay is very rewarding and fun, but as I said, I personally felt fixed beat mode was personally a lot funner for me for extended playtime. The rhythm base of the game is fun and everything like that, but I felt it does get dull pretty quickly. Now, I do have to say that this game, even with fixed beat mode, is still a pretty challenging game. And I can even say that Cadence of Hyrule was probably one of the hardest Legend of Zelda games out there. Even with fixed beat mode, as well as if you're playing rhythm mode, it's even raises that bar even higher. But that depends on you and an individual if you've got good rhythm. Overall, I can't really say nothing really ultimately bad about the experience of this game. I just had a splendid time playing it. I just personally could not put it down. The only really big gripe I could probably say is that when you beat the game will automatically try to look for an internet connection and try to upload your gameplay up to the ladder board and so forth. You can't disable this. I found this really annoying because I don't really care about ladder boards and so forth, and I shouldn't be waiting at the loading screen after I beat the game and have to sit there on a black screen wondering what's going on. So just bear that in mind. Once you beat it and you're at a black screen, you don't know what's going on, it's trying to connect to the internet if you don't have internet. As well as when you start up the game has a pretty long load time, so just bear that in mind. I'd say it's about a minute of load time when you start the game up. But other than that, this was a great game. This is by far one of my most favorite Zelda games, period. And the fact that I can keep coming back to this and have a different random mode, as well as it comes with all the DLC and updates on the cartridge, I'm all for a sequel to this game. This is, without a doubt, one of my most favorite Legend of Zelda games. Classic, original style Legend of Zelda, if I will. I mean, if you're looking more for like the 3D perspective of like Breath of the Wild, or let's say Ocarina of Time and so forth, the 3D Legend of Zelda, then that's up to debate on that one, which is the most favorite. I have to say Breath of the Wild is definitely up there for me, just because of certain mechanics in that game I really enjoyed. But this one is definitely my most favorite. It actually somehow passed Link to the Past. So good job to the creators of, Brace Yourself Games. They did an amazing job, and this is an amazing game. I'm proud to have this in my collection. Probably one of my top 10 most favorite Nintendo Switch games I have on my shelf. So, like always, I will leave links down in the description if you're Instacopy. Of course, I have to highly recommend the game if I haven't already. It comes with all the content on cartridge, all the updates, and so forth. And I don't know if there's anything planned later to be released. It would disappoint me if there is, but overall, it's still a great experience. So, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next unboxing video. Bye-bye.
Every world has its evils. And when the balance of power is inevitably lost, it's up to the courageous and the wise to restore it. But sometimes they need a little extra